Welcome to the show. Hi, I'm Mr. Chugats, your host of 24/7 Laredo Talk Show. It's an original, free, and independent news channel that talks about issues affecting Laredo and surrounding areas. You can follow us by pressing the like button on your Facebook page. We're very fortunate to have Mr. Carlos Perez, who's a candidate for Laredo College, Place 8. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. Now, Carlos, you're brand new to the political sphere, and I don't think you've ever run before. So I'm going to ask you a little bit if you can explain to the public who you are first, and then we'll just take it from there.
All right, well, that sounds good. So the public knows I am a native Laredoan. I've lived most of my life in Laredo, except for a few years where I moved out of town. I went to school here in Laredo, product of Laredo ISD, Kristen, Martin High School, Laredo Community College at the time, not Laredo College. Graduated TAMU with a bachelor's, and then I earned a master's degree at TAMU as well. I went to law school, but only for a year. It ended up being too expensive. So that's all about me and my background as far as my education. As far as my other personal things in life, I have 5 kids, 4 daughters and a son. And
They went to school here in Laredo?
yeah, they're all here in school in Laredo. One's already at TAMU. She's going to be starting TAMU this year, and she went through LC as well first. And my other kids are all at some of them are LASD, some are UISD because we haven't divorced until my ex-wife.
Right. No, I understand that. So you got your kids going to both school districts, and one of them's going to TAMU. So you're familiar with, obviously, you're raising kids, and you're also a teacher by profession.
That's correct.
So where do you teach?
I teach at United South High School with United ISD. I've been there for 2 years. We moved back from Colorado Springs, where I worked at Pikes Peak Community College in the enrollment services area. So after moving back to Laredo, after being there for a while, I decided that I wanted to be a teacher instead of working at a college directly as a.
It's a very rewarding profession because you're able to, unless I'm mistaken, you're able to mold the minds and in fact open the minds of a lot of young people to learn.
Yes, that is correct. That's something that motivated me, which was you get to touch students' lives in a different way than when you work at enrollment services or work with a financial aid office or a registration office. And so that really is something that I wanted to do. And I had the opportunity to be offered the position when I applied over the phone. Was my interview. I was in Colorado Springs and I was actually in the car, and I was very fortunate that they offered me the position, and I really enjoyed being there for the last.
What do you teach at United South?
It's my first political campaign, but I do teach government and politics, AP and regular government, along with economics.
You couldn't have done better, right? I mean, so it seems then that you're actually teaching government, and you're actually going through the whole political process. Correct. Hopefully, it'll be a rewarding experience for you, because politics can be very rewarding and very in terms of being an honorable profession. Mm-hmm. If everyone just does what they're supposed to do. But I guess we'll talk about that later on. Now, explain to me now, what made you decide, though, I mean, to run as a trustee at Laredo College? It's
2 things primarily. Having been an employee, now a former employee of Laredo College, I'll say 3 things. I know some of the issues that need to be addressed at the college. I haven't been there in 3 years, I believe, going on 4 or 3 or 4. And I knew some of the issues that existed at the time that needed to be worked upon. And I feel that they still need to be worked on. And I want to work on those issues. Another thing would be the fact that I got to learn a lot working at the Pikes Peak Community College in Colorado Springs of different systems, different way to do things. And I would like to bring some of that to the table, along with the fact that being back in the classroom, and I only work with seniors, and seeing seniors that are graduating and they're disenchanted. They don't feel that the college is for them. They don't feel that it will be a rewarding experience, or that it is something that they would want to do at this time, and they'll put it off, for years. And I've seen it working at a college where we'll have people show up who have never been to college 5, 6 years, 10 years later. So seeing that this enchantment.
It seems that many people, maybe just Laredo, but it seems a lot of people don't understand that education is a lifelong experience.
That is correct.
It's just not when you're 20 years old or 25 or 30 years old. You can go to college, especially your local college, when you're 50 years old or when you're retired after 55, 60 years old. So you're looking at something like that in terms of trying to attract some of the older generations to come back to school?
Correct. So my concern coming back to Laredo was seeing my students not being interested in going to college, but at the same time, a lot of students, a lot of people who are older, even in their 40s, my age, sometimes they feel they need retraining or new skills to broaden their prospects as far as our economy is constantly changing, and it's going to continue to change, not only because of COVID right now, but because of technology and because of we live in an ever-changing world. I teach economics as well. Our students need to be prepared, but so do our other generations,
Right.
Generation X like myself, to take on new roles because the jobs that we hold right now may disappear in the future. There's a lot of virtual learning, and computers can do a lot of teaching for us at certain levels, not at every level. You cannot eliminate a kindergarten teacher or first grade teacher, but that's something that we need to be on the lookout for. What other things are we going to be able to do or train our community to do as far as programs that we offer that'll provide actual benefits as far as opportunities for jobs, good paying jobs, not just minimum wage jobs. So those are some of the combination of things
Well, that makes some sense. Now, do you foresee possibly bringing other types of curriculum that doesn't exist here in Laredo, at least that we're not teaching here?
I believe that there is an opportunity for us to bring more to Laredo. There are programs that I've seen at other colleges, other colleges. I'm sorry, not universities. Well, universities too, but we would need to offer more 4-year degrees at Laredo College. Currently, they offer one in nursing, but you may be expanding the 4-year degrees at the college level and bringing in programs that what I'm working or in the process of doing is setting up meetings with community leaders in their fields, logistics, in the medical field, areas like that, and looking to see what their needs are. What needs do you need to fill in your areas of expertise that you feel are not being filled by what we're using at Laredo College or TAMU. So we're in the process of doing that. I have a committee. This is not just a raise that I'm running on my own. I have about 10 advisors that I work with. And so we're a team, and we're looking out to see what we can do to
well, that means that you're talking to citizens in the community, basically, and asking for their advice.
Correct. I mean, I have ideas as to what could be done and how I would like to see things done. But of course, I mean, I'm not the only one who knows. I don't have all the answers.
Right. So, no, I understand that. But at least you do have people from the community you're talking to. Now, have you had a chance to talk to young people, students at the college level, and asking them what else can the college provide locally?
I have a couple of my advisors are actually college students. One is at TAMU. He's going to graduate this year. He's my treasurer, actually. His name is Francisco Olivares. I decided to go with somebody young. He was a student government body president at LC back when I worked there, and now he's graduating from TAMU this semester. And so I have him involved, and he has ideas as to how we can improve the experience for students at the college experience at Laredo College. And at the same time, I also have another he was a work study of mine, and he eventually became an employee at Laredo College when I was a director there. And he's also in the committee. He's actually getting a master's degree in international relations. He's up at Texas State University. So I like to bring in people that are willing to share ideas, not only community leaders, but also young people as well, and get them involved. And we're looking for more community outreach. I mean, if young people are interested in joining our campaign, we're looking for that because we want to hear what the youth is looking for as far as a college experience and what kind of interest they have when they decide to attend a college. What is it that they're looking for?
There were two issues that I wanted to raise with you. One of them was the issue of the fact that about a month ago, the college closed down their athletics department. Mm-hmm. And part of the reason was because of financial reasons. Mm-hmm. Part of it was that, or at least for the most part, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts concerning athletics in the college level in general, not including the issue of the COVID-19, but in terms of athletics?
I think athletics are essential component of any experience, be it a high school experience, be it a college experience, university. If you build a good athletics department that attracts local talent and promotes a local talent to move out, beyond the high school level, beyond the college level, into universities and play there, I think it's really rewarding for the students and for their families and our community to have our local talent go out there and compete, major league. baseball.
Right. You're actually still
Castle.
developing the local, exactly, it definitely
So
is.
I do support those. I do support completely the athletics programs. I was actually one of the people who was in charge of signing off at NJCAA at Laredo College and making sure all students met all the criteria to play. So I worked very closely with the athletics department when I was there, and I would like to see that come back. One of the things that I feel is that I understand the budget's shortfalls because of the COVID and how we need to make adjustments. But at the same time, I don't feel we should eliminate programs on a permanent basis. We shouldn't be reactionary. Like any other pandemics we've had, this one will pass. So
Right.
we need to be thinking about the future, not just thinking about what are we going to get through the semester this year, but saying, okay, we may have to put the program on pause for now, but we're going to bring it back. And that's the approach that I have
Well,
towards.
you're right, because I mean, if you're trying to bring the athletics back, it's going to cost us several $100,000 at the very least. And so they've already gotten used to not using that money. So they've already moved them to different other departments. So it's going to be kind of hard to bring the money back to that department. So I'm not sure how that's going to happen.
And I agree with you. That's my concern about a lot of the things that are happening at various, not just the college, but at various levels that you see throughout our different governments, city, local, state, federal, where things are reactionary. It's like, well, we need to do this to fix this problem right now. But what about the long term? And you made a very valid point. I was reading an article this morning that said, when you start to eliminate programs and using COVID as an excuse to eliminate those programs or decrease pay or do things like that, then it becomes a norm. And we shouldn't let the pandemic drive us into a new norm. A lot of people are saying this is the new normal.
Not in that respect.
It
You're
should be
limiting
the
they're
norm for now.
limiting the options for people.
Yeah, we should not eliminate things without, having the plan to bring them back at some point, because we cannot have this new normal. We should go back to the way things were, so that we can better serve our students, I feel. And so, yes, you're right. I mean, money gets reallocated, and that's an issue for me because I don't believe we should be doing that. I think we
So
should.
hopefully you'll be, once you come in, that you might look at that issue again and revisit it to see what can be done. The last issue was that the nursing program does have a 4-year degree component, first time at Laredo College. Do you foresee the potential of expanding that to other types of careers in Laredo for Laredo College?
I do believe that's something that I would like to do if I serve on the board, work with the administration at the college to bring more 4-year programs to the college. It's more affordable. Not that I have anything against TAMU. My wife works at TAMU. She's an advisor there at the College of Arts and Sciences. So I totally support TAMU as well. I'm a graduate of TAMU, both bachelor's and master's degree.
Right.
But at the same time, if we can get programs that are 4-year programs at LC, I think that's something that benefits our students, our community. And we would need to look. I know nursing was a big one because of the need for nurses, and expansion of that program here in Laredo, 4-year degree in nursing. But we need to look at other areas and and do it.
That makes sense. I'm hopeful that you can consider that. We're going to take a short pause at this time, and we'll be right back with Carlos Perez running for place 8 at the Laredo College ballot.
Thank you.
Back to the show, we have Mr. Carlos Perez, who's running for position place 8 at the Laredo College ballot, which is up for election on November the 3rd of this year. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Perez.
Thank you.
Well, now we were just talking about it right now, about some of the things that you like to do. But through the process, there's a budget. And I'd like to get your thoughts concerning your philosophy concerning the budget. With
Mhm.
COVID-19 coming in, it created it created an additional cost for the college. And in fact, they received monies from the federal government concerning some of that impact.
Mhm.
Um, there may have to be some cutbacks on the budget for this coming year. What is your philosophy concerning the budgets? Are you in favor of raising taxes, lowering taxes, cutting back on programs, operations, or putting more emphasis on trying to get grants? Or what exactly is your view concerning taxes?
Concerning taxes, I'm a strong proponent of either keeping taxes as they are or lowering them when possible. I do not believe we should raise taxes to deal with the pandemic as we're going through it. That's not something that's going to solve our problem. And then if we raise taxes, like we talked about that other issue, once you do something, then it stays, and we don't want to be doing things that are going to remain in place for we raise taxes this year, they're going to be like that for the next 10 years, 20 years. So I am opposed to raising taxes. At the same time, I am a I do not want our students to leave school with debt. Laredo College does not offer student loans. I think one of the things that we were looking at, my campaign team and I, was the fact that, for example, right now LC is lowering tuition by 20%
Right.
to try to attract more students, and that is a good thing. You know, students, instead of paying $480, 470 for a class, they're paying 300 and some per class for a 3 credit hour class. And while that's good, one of my advisors, one of these younger people, told me, one of the questions that we're talking about here in San Marcos, where he's at school now, he mentioned was, well, if they can do 20% off now, why can't they do it all the time then? And the more and more students are beginning to ask that question out there at Texas State. So it becomes a question for our community as well. If they
Well,
can function with a 20% cut, why can't you
yeah.
give us that cut all
Well,
the time?
you wonder maybe that's where the money is, the allocation of those athletic funds went
Hmm.
there. I mean, I don't know, but that's something we want to look into it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's something that I would definitely look into once, once elected, I would look into that as a member of the board.
Right.
Uh, I'm opposed to increasing the tax burden on our community, on our taxpayers. And at the same time, I believe that we should keep our tuition and fees affordable, and not make reactionary again, not make cuts when we don't need to. There's fees that can be removed besides tuition. Some of the fees can be removed because students aren't going onto campus. So we can do
Yes.
things like that. The 20% cut is a big chunk of money that's going to be lost. So that is a concern for me as far as the budget is concerned, because I believe that uh, there may be other ways to look at that. Laredo College also has a very healthy fund balance that they keep separate from their budget. They have a separate fund, 20 million, or I'm not sure exactly right now about the number, so don't
Right.
quote me.
Well, normally they're required to have like a 15%
Yeah,
set aside.
and they
But
have
many times they have more than 15%. So,
yeah, they have more than 15%. So that's a pretty healthy budget, and maybe some of that could be used during a crisis like right now. The money's supposed to
right.
be for issues like crisis, like for insurance.
They did get millions of dollars by the federal government because of COVID-19 as well. So, you know, they do have, I didn't say extra money, but they certainly receive some help from the government. Now, let me ask you a question. So you are in favor, though, of continued virtual learning for the time being at Laredo College?
I believe that that's based on being a teacher myself. That's what most of the parents in Laredo and students themselves would like to see right now: virtual learning, distance learning. I'll
Right.
be teaching the first 8 weeks online as well as a teacher at United ISD, and so we need to listen to our constituents, our parents, our students, and that's what they're comfortable with, and that's what we should do. Uh,
Well, you know
once.
what? I mean, really, let me give you a point. My niece is attending the University of Texas in Austin,
Mhm.
and she's doing all her learning online because that's the way the university has set up for the whole year. She lives here in Laredo and she's attending the University of Texas. Then why can't we have other students from Austin or San Antonio take classes in Laredo College?
Mhm. And I agree with.
To me, that should be something that should have been considered as well.
Mhm. And that's something we should be looking at. I know most of the time we have different college districts. There's 50 of them in the state of Texas, and every district wants to keep the students in their district. One of the things that happens, though, when you ask that question is we have in-district tuition fees rates, we have out-of-district tuition rates, out of state. So, we can try to attract them, but the cost is going to be greater for those people that are coming, would be attending from San Antonio or Corpus Christi or other areas. So it would be something that we would have to weigh. Do we reduce fees for now?
But it is something for them to consider, because if you're looking at numbers, you can get the numbers from out of town. You no longer have to just get them from Laredo. But now, with this thing with COVID-19, what advice do you give people concerning COVID-19? Just generally.
Generally, I follow social distancing guidelines. The 6 feet wherever I go. I clean my hands, wash my hands, disinfectants. Always wear a mask when I'm out in public. I am a runner. That's one of my hobbies. I like to run marathons.
And you're healthy.
Yeah, stay healthy.
Yeah.
And so while I am exercising, I exercise alone. Like I'll go to the loop and run on the loop. Some people I've seen lately, a lot of people going to North Central Park, and they're walking around without masks and stuff. And maybe that's not the best thing to be doing at this moment. I do believe that you should be wearing some kind of covering over your face. If experts say that that's what works, and let's go ahead and do that. But yeah, I mean, I follow the guidelines. I would
encourage people to follow the same guidelines. Let me ask you, with so much fear out there, and obviously not only fear, but it is legitimate fear, people getting coronavirus, it makes all the campaigns work harder and become creative in how they're going to reach their voters. How do you plan to reach the voters under this circumstance?
That's a good question, an excellent question. And just to give you a brief example of how coronavirus affects people, in my own family in San Antonio, I have a cousin, her husband, their child, and my aunt and uncle all became ill because of one person contracting the disease. So I mean, it's a very real thing, and it spreads very quickly. The whole family got it.
It's here in Laredo. It's like we are in a pestilence. I mean, we do have a problem.
Definitely. So going back to your question, it was about how to deal with the campaigning and all that. What we're looking at very closely is trying to do more things like of this nature, interviews that are online, opening up ourselves to Facebook Live and doing some of those events, Facebook Live events, Instagram channel, trying to get the word out through social media. And whenever possible, we would like to have events, but we know the constraints are very difficult to have events within the new rules and guidelines we have to follow. So I think the majority of it will be through social media. And so we are building our social media platforms, our platforms in a way that we can try to reach as many people as possible in our community.
Definitely. And I appreciate you making this show. And this is the first time we actually come on the show. And so hopefully we'll be able to see you in the future. Now, let me ask you here, Carlos, you are one of 3 persons running for office in this particular position. There's already an incumbent in there. What makes you uniquely qualified to be to be the next board member for that position?
I think it would be a combination of my education and my experience working at the college itself. My education, I do have a master's degree, not in government, it's actually in education administration, educational leadership. And I've also, like I said, I have 8 years of experience working at Laredo College. I had the opportunity while working there to work with every department essentially at the college. So I got to build good relationships and learn about things at the college and how they worked, what different departments needed, what students needed. I worked directly with students on a daily basis when I was at the college. So I got to learn a lot from them. I got to learn from our students. I worked with students directly on a daily basis right now as well, that are high school seniors graduating. So I think that experience combined along with my education, had those leadership roles. I know there's an incumbent there who has those 6 years of experience working on the board, but I have experience with the college as well, approximately 8 years, approximately, working with the college on the ground, actually in the trenches, working delayed registrations till midnight or whatever time we had to be there, trying to get all our students enrolled and registered, things of that nature. So I think my experience is what makes me a unique candidate. Uh,
But let me ask you, where can people reach you now? If I want to volunteer in your campaign, or if I want to talk to you about what the issues are and your thoughts about it, where can they reach you?
Uh, our campaign currently has a Facebook and Instagram. It's a CG, the letter CG, and then Perez altogether, CGPEREZ, and the number 4LC. So you would go to at Facebook at CG Perez 4LC. Instagram, it'll be the same. Twitter will be the same. And we're using primarily Facebook and Instagram for the most part. Our phone number is also there, as well as our email address for the campaign is also located on our social media sites. And we actually put out a call for volunteers, and we received some good response. We've seen several people have volunteered to work with our campaign on Facebook. So we are trying to get the word out and trying to get people more people involved in our campaign. I want it to be a campaign about our community, not just about me. And that's why bringing people together as a team, as I mentioned before.
Right.
Every job I've ever had.
When you have a good committee.
Every job I've ever had, I can never say I did it by myself. I always work with teams. And teamwork is always what's going to get you the best results, I feel. And that's why we have an advisory committee, advisory panel. And we're looking to increase the numbers on that to have more input from more people in our community.
That's good. That's good. Well, I want to thank you, Carlos, for being here. I appreciate your honesty and appreciate your excitement for running, your enthusiasm, because we certainly need as many new people as possible to run for office. It keeps Laredo young, and it keeps us on top of what is going on in our community. Because sometimes you have people who stay here for too long in office, and they're not willing to grow. So I really appreciate the fact that you are trying to make a change there. I tell the public, of course, the election is November the 3rd, 2020. Early voting begins October 13. That's 3 weeks of early voting that we're going to be able to vote. And I remind you, if you're not registered to vote, to please go register before September the 12th, which is the deadline, I believe, for registering. And if you have an issue concerning where you live, you can call the elections office. I don't have the number in front of me, but you can check with their website, or you can call 311 and they'll transfer you to Webb County Elections Office, and they'll try to make a change there as well. Again, I thank you again, Carlos, for being here. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I go?
No, we look forward to having a great campaign, a positive campaign, and getting as many volunteers as possible and working with the community. That's what we're all about. And we'll be putting up my wife is a media graphic designer, and she'll be putting up tomorrow on our website. Everybody who's helping us on our Facebook page, everybody is helping us as of right now. So we want to promote that we're a community-based campaign.
Well, good. Well, congratulations for making the leap. It's not easy. I understand that. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of soul searching, and it is a wonderful experience to be able to run for office. So I want to congratulate you for doing that, and your team, of course. And again, I want to thank the public for watching the show. Please don't forget to press the like button to continue watching shows like this. And hopefully we'll see you again, Carlos, in the near future. Let us know how you're doing. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you, the public. Continue to have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you.